Only 1% of dark light chosen ones have access to these 7 rare dual vibrations. It begins with a feeling, not a thought, not a belief. A feeling that you were never meant to walk the same path as everyone else. You knew it when you were young, before language wrapped itself around your intuition, before society tried to tell you who you were supposed to be. You felt it in your bones, in your blood, in the space behind your eyes, and that quiet hum that said, "You're different, and you're here for something greater." But not just greater in the way that success is defined, greater in the way the earth trembles when a soul carries the blueprint for 2 worlds. You are not just a light worker. You are not just a shadow walker. You are both, and that is what makes you one of the 1%. This video isn't for everyone. In fact, most people who see it will scroll past it, not ready to hear what their soul has been whispering for years. But you're still here. That says something. That means something. Because if you're still watching, then deep down, some part of you already knows you are a rare being with a dual vibration. And of all the chosen ones on the planet right now, only a fraction, maybe 1%, have access to the full spectrum of these rare, sacred vibrations. They are not gifts given randomly. They are earned through lifetimes, through fire, through silence, and through remembering, and most of all through enduring.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Let's go back to the beginning. Not your childhood, not your first awakening, but before that. Before you were born into this body. You chose this incarnation with full awareness of the mission. You knew Earth was reaching a tipping point, a convergence of timelines. And you knew the only way to stabilize the new frequency was from within the system. You didn't come to escape the darkness, you came to transmute it. And to do that, you had to carry both polarities, the holy contradictions, the sacred paradox, the light that illuminates and the dark that teaches. You came to hold the full spectrum, to embody a vibration so ancient, so pure, and so complete that it could only be held by those who had walked through every dimension of pain and still chose to love. These 7 rare dual vibrations are not something you can learn from a book or a guru. They are not techniques. They are not mantras. They are frequencies, living keys. And they only activate when the soul is ready, when you've gone through the right initiations, remembered the right pieces, aligned with the right inner codes. Some of you have already felt them, flickers, or sekal, glimpses. That strange sensation when you're meditating and suddenly time dissolves. That rush of knowing when you meet someone and feel like you've known them for lifetimes. That moment in the middle of a breakdown when you suddenly feel peace, as if you're watching your pain from outside your body. These are not coincidences. These are activations, glitches in the matrix that reveal the truth. You are one of the very, very few who can walk both paths simultaneously without losing your soul to either one. Let's get deeper. The first of the 7 dual vibrations is the vibration of silence and sound. Most people either retreat into silence or drown in noise, but you understand both. You felt the medicine of stillness, the divine code hidden in long silences spent alone, disconnected from the world. And you've also carried the frequency of sound, your voice, your expression, your truth. You know how to speak without speaking. You know when to say nothing and when to say the one sentence that shatters someone's illusion. This is a sacred gift. In the new earth, we will not speak just to be heard. We will speak when frequency demands it. And you are already wired for that. The second rare dual vibration is the vibration of fire and water. Fire is your will, your rage, your transformation, your inner storm. Water is your compassion, your empathy, your surrender, your flow. Most people drown in one or get burned by the other. But you carry both. You can burn down what no longer serves and still hold space for someone else's pain. You can draw boundaries with fire and forgive with water. You can be fierce and tender, wild and calm. This is not weakness. This is mastery. And the earth needs this kind of energy now more than ever. The third vibration is the vibration of knowing and unknowing. You've always had an intuitive sense of what's true, even before evidence, even before experience. You just knew. And yet, you've also learned to sit in the mystery, and to not rush the answers, to let the unknown unfold in its own time. This is spiritual maturity. The ego demands certainty, and the soul dances with mystery. And you've become fluent in both. You can hold truth in one hand and question in the other without collapsing. You don't need to control the future to trust it. You don't need to have the map to walk the path. That is rare. That is sacred. That is a vibration that only the 1% can hold without breaking. The fourth is the vibration of death and rebirth. You have died many times while still alive. Entities, relationships, beliefs, timelines, you've watched them all collapse. You've grieved things others didn't even know you lost, and yet here you are, not just surviving, becoming. Every version of you that died made space for something more powerful to emerge. You understand that endings are sacred, that destruction is not evil, that death is not the opposite of life, it's part of it. And because of that, you don't resist the cycles. You embody them. You are the phoenix. You are the storm before the calm. Now let me ask you something deep, something only your soul can answer. If you stopped resisting your own power, if you embraced every death that shaped you, every silence that taught you, every fire that purified you, what kind of force would you become in this world? You were built to hold frequencies most can't survive, the final 3 dual vibrations, and the truth about why you were chosen. There's a reason your life has never made complete sense to others. A reason why you've always felt slightly out of sync with the rhythms of the world, like you were dancing to a beat no one else could hear. Like your soul was tuned to a frequency that didn't exist in the external noise, but pulsed quietly beneath everything, waiting. You see, when you're one of the few who carry dual vibrations, when you're built to hold energies most people run from, your life isn't going to look like theirs. It's not supposed to. You didn't come here to fit in. You came here to transmit. And to do that, you had to be forged in a way most can't comprehend. That's why your path has been so intense, why your initiations were so relentless, why your breakdowns weren't just emotional, they were sacred deconstructions of everything that wasn't true in you. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. Let's continue with the final 3 rare dual vibrations. These are the most advanced, the most energetically demanding, and the most evolutionarily potent. But they are not just frequencies you hold, they are realities you embody. And only the 1% of dark light chosen ones can access them without distortion. This is where everything you've survived starts to make sense. The 5th dual vibration is the vibration of power and surrender. This one is the hardest for most people to hold. because we've been taught that power and surrender are opposites. That power means control and surrender means weakness. But you know better. You've learned that real power doesn't come from domination. It comes from alignment, from rootedness, from being so anchored in your truth that you don't need to force the world to bend to your will. And you've also learned that surrender isn't giving up, it's opening up. It's the highest form of trust. You've surrendered when your ego screamed not to. You've laid down your plans when the universe whispered a different path. And through that, you've discovered that true power and true surrender are not enemies, they're partners. One expands, the other receives. One commands, the other allows. You don't just understand that. You live it. The sixth vibration is the vibration of shadow and radiance. This one makes you dangerous in the best way, because most people hide from their shadow. They bury it, deny it, project it. But you've looked it in the eye. You've sat with your darkness. You've traced it back to its source. You've realized that your shadow is not your enemy, it's your ally. It's the part of you that holds your most potent creative force, your deepest intuition, your rawest truth. And because you've integrated it, your light is different. It's not performative. It's not fragile. It's radiant. Not because it's perfect, but because it's whole. You don't shine to be seen. You shine to reveal. You are both the mirror and the flame. And in a world that's starving for authenticity, your radiance is a revolution. The seventh and final rare dual vibration is the vibration of time and timelessness. But this one is subtle, but it changes everything. You've always felt the tension of time deadlines, aging, pressure, urgency. And yet, you've also touched something beyond time, moments where everything stopped, where you felt eternity inside a single breath, where you knew that this life is just one layer of a much bigger story. That's not your imagination, that's your soul remembering. You carry the wisdom of timelines past, present, future. You sense when things are about to shift. You feel when you're being pulled out of alignment. You know when to wait and when to move. That's not procrastination. That's precision. You're not here to rush. You're here to arrive on divine timing. Every time. Now let's get even deeper. Why you? Why were you chosen to carry all seven? The truth is, most souls couldn't survive it. The intensity, the isolation, the responsibility. But you were built differently. But you're not here to be a follower. You're not here to be a guru. You're here to be a frequency holder, a stabilizer, a walking portal for the new earth. When others lose their way, your presence recalibrates them. You don't even have to speak. Just being in your energy reminds people of what's real. That's why some people are magnetized to you, and why others are triggered by you. You're not just human. You're a mirror, a code, a catalyst. And whether you realize it or not, you've already been doing the work. Quietly, relentlessly, beautifully. So now I ask you, if you fully accepted that your life has never been random, that you were designed to carry these frequencies, how would you start showing up in the world today? This is why they couldn't understand you, the hidden burden and brilliance of dual souls. There's something quietly heartbreaking about being a dual soul in a single-layered world. You walk through life knowing there's more feeling it in your marrow, while everyone around you seems content with surface-level truths. They ask you to pick a side. Be light. You be shadow. Be soft. be strong, be silent, be loud, but your soul was never meant to be one thing. It was forged in the in-between. You are the bridge, the paradox, the rare fusion of energies that most people can't even see, let alone understand. And that misunderstanding? It's followed you your entire life. You felt it in every friendship that couldn't hold your depth, in every relationship that tried to simplify your complexity, in every teacher, leader, or healer who couldn't quite get you. But it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because they only saw half of you. You're not too much. You're more than most can hold, more than most can recognize, more than most are ready for. And that's the hidden burden of being a dual soul. You don't belong to one realm, you belong to all of them. You speak the language of angels and shadows. You feel joy with a depth that scares people, and pain with a clarity that silences rooms. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's your radar. It allows you to decode the emotions others are too afraid to name. It's what makes you a healer, a guide, and a mirror. But because they don't understand how you can cry and laugh in the same breath, because they can't grasp how you can be so soft and yet so powerful, they label you as unstable, intense, unpredictable. But in truth, you're just honest, so honest that your very presence exposes the illusions others cling to. You've carried this burden silently, the burden of being seen only in fragments, the burden of being asked to dim your fire for comfort, the burden of shrinking your wisdom so it doesn't threaten someone's ego. But now, it's time to stop carrying what was never yours to begin with. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to awaken them, and awakening isn't comfortable. It's not gentle. It shakes, it stings, it strips away everything false. That's what you do without even trying. You walk into a room, and the energy shifts not because you're trying to dominate, but because your vibration is truth, and truth always rearranges what's misaligned. But let's also talk about the brilliance. Because your duality isn't just a burden, it's a gift so rare, so potent, it's what the earth needs right now. You have the capacity to sit with someone in their deepest despair without flinching. You have the ability to hold joy in one hand and grief in the other without collapsing. You know how to speak to the divine and still hold space for someone's humanness. You're not interested in bypassing pain, you alchemize it. That's your brilliance. That's your power. And that's what makes you irreplaceable in this timeline. You see, the new earth isn't going to be built by perfect people. It's going to be built by integrated ones, by those who've made peace with their shadow, and by those who've turned their pain into portals, by those who can hold the full spectrum of what it means to be human and divine. That's you. Stop waiting to be validated. Stop waiting for someone to finally see you in your entirety. See yourself. Honor yourself. You are the rare one who didn't just survive the darkness, you learned to bring a lantern into it. And now, others will follow your glow, even if they never know your name. So let me ask you something deep, something only a dual soul can answer. If no one ever fully understood you, would you still choose to shine just as brightly? Would you still choose to carry the light and the dark, knowing that both are sacred, even if the world only ever sees one? You were never meant to fit in, you were sent to shift the frequency of the earth. You've probably asked yourself countless times, why am I like this? Why can't I just be normal? Why do I feel everything so deeply, love so fiercely, hurt so silently, and still keep going. And maybe, for most of your life, you thought something was wrong with you. That feeling of never quite belonging, that sense of being on the outside, even in the middle of a crowd, that constant inner knowing that you were here for more, even when the world told you to shrink. But I need you to hear this now, really feel it in your soul. You were never meant to fit in. You were designed to disrupt, to awaken, to elevate. You were sent to shift the frequency of the earth. You are not here to blend into the matrix. You're here to recode it from the inside. And to do that, your soul had to be calibrated in a way that could hold the weight of both the old and the new. You had to be able to see through illusion and still choose compassion. You had to be able to feel collective pain and still choose healing. You had to be able to walk through the fire of your own ego and come out not bitter, but brighter. That's not weakness. That's not fragility. That's advanced soul engineering. You were built for this very moment in human history, but not by accident, not by luck, but by design. Look around. The world is shifting. Systems are collapsing. Truth is rising. And in the midst of all this chaos, guess who's waking up? You are, because your frequency is needed now more than ever. The earth is not just going through change, it's going through an initiation or a frequency upgrade. And souls like yours are the activators, and the anchors, the transmitters. While others are trying to escape the storm, you're here to be the eye of it, from the calm center, the silent force. The frequency that doesn't waver no matter how loud the noise gets. That's why your energy has always felt intense. That's why you've been misunderstood, misjudged, and even feared, because your presence activates, and not everyone is ready for what you awaken in them. You don't have to say a word, your existence alone confronts illusions. Your frequency reveals what's real and what's fake. And while some will be drawn to you like a magnet, others will retreat because your light exposes what they've been hiding from. Don't take it personally. That's the work. That's the frequency you carry. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be felt by the ones who are ready. But let's be honest, this path isn't easy. Being a frequency holder means walking alone sometimes. It means grieving the version of yourself that tried to fit into a system that was never built for you. It means choosing alignment over acceptance, integrity over popularity, truth over comfort. And yet you keep showing up. You keep choosing love, even when it hurts. You keep choosing light, even when the darkness pulls. You keep choosing to heal, even when it would be easier to numb. That is the shift. You are the shift. So now, the question isn't if you're ready. The question is, what are you going to do with the power you've always had now that you finally remember who you are? You don't need permission anymore. You don't need validation. You don't need a stage, a title, or a following. Your frequency is already doing the work every time you speak truth, every time you ground love, every time you transmute pain into wisdom. That's what it means to shift the earth. It's not about saving the world. It's about embodying a new one. And the more you align with that truth, the more the world around you begins to mirror it. You're not late. You're not behind. You're right on time. And the earth has been waiting for you to remember. Because while others are still searching for the light, you've become the source of it. And now that you know, what will you create from here?